Hi, I'm Roger Boylan. I'm from Saginaw Medical Service, and today we're going to talk about different wheelchairs, and we have a number of different things here. Today we're going to start with a lightweight titanium folding wheelchair. So this chair actually has a folding frame or a folding X-brace that allows this chair to fold flat, so it could be put into a vehicle or stored if needed to. One of the big differences between a folding frame and a rigid frame, obviously a rigid frame does not fold, and what that does is when you're in a folding chair, the X-brace allows some movement or some flex, and in a rigid chair you do not have that. So a lot of the energy from your propel or your push goes right into that. So right into the propel. So it's a lot better for your patient if they could be in a rigid chair. But not everyone fits into a rigid chair. That's why we have folding chairs available. This one happens to be titanium, which is very lightweight. It has a fixed front end here, which this frame does not swing away, which allows us to have the frame a little bit closer and also allows this patient to have his feet a little more under him so they can get closer to, say, a cabinet or in a kitchen or anything like that. You know, sometimes when we end up being in a wheelchair, our environment doesn't always allow us to be in that environment as much as we need to. So if we can try to adapt some of the chair, maybe that lessens that struggle that patient may have. So with this chair, we have side guards that are removable. Obviously, this would help protect our patient's clothing. They're called clothing guards. This has a little loop, so if someone has some hand function problems or inefficient, they can still get that on and off. Then it will help also hold a cushion in here. Before, if they don't have that, the cushion could fall into the wheels, and then if you had an air-filled cushion or something like that, you could break that cushion and then you have a real problem there. This particular chair has a very nice wheel. It's very dynamic for the person with the spokes. It also has what's called a quick release axle, which allows the chair or the wheel to come away from the chair, which can now be a little lighter for a patient to maybe get into their vehicle. This chair would be for someone that is folding it and putting it into a vehicle. So they would have to take this off. And that's called a quick release axle. Goes back on and it locks into place. This also has a back support that is able to be removed, but this gives you someone that needs the support for, say, their lumbar area, maybe a little bit higher since it's a little higher to the back post. Gives a patient much more support here. We have our front wheels with our caster journals here, which keeps the casters back a little bit and then allows our feet to be a little bit closer to our patient. So this is one of the higher end folding titanium chairs that we have. There are different levels of wheelchairs. When we start off with more basic wheelchairs, maybe our patients that have strokes, and then our older population might be in more of a basic chair because they just need more transportation and getting around in their homes or in and out of therapy and things like that. So then we go up to, you know, maybe an aluminum folding chair. That, once again, what we're looking at is what we can do to make the chair as lightweight as possible. Unfortunately, I have a lot of people that will come in and say, well, I care for my grandfather and I'm the caregiver and I really need a light chair for me to put it into a vehicle. But unfortunately, the diagnosis and all our funding and insurances are all related to what the patient needs. Unfortunately, they don't really have anything built in for a caregiver. So some of the things that we can do to help lighten it is to remove things, remove the wheels, remove the side guards, remove the back. Those are things that will help. But always could be issues with that, with removing them and things like that. So this is a lighter weight chair. Generally, they do not use anti-tippers on these, so you don't see them on this chair. There's a bracketry here that you lift this up, and then the back folds forward and comes off. And then the chair would be able, and what's unique about this is it has a one-piece foot plate that has a hinge in the middle that allows the chair now to fold. So this would be able to be put into a vehicle along with maybe taking a wheel off or both wheels off to make it more portable to do that. This probably weighs up to about 14 pounds. So it's a lot lighter weight without any of these accessories. But some of the difficulty is trying to put this back together if you're in a front seat, or especially in our great state of Michigan, we have weather and we do not want to be outside getting wet putting this back together. So what I try to do is eliminate as much taking off the chair as if we can, but that's one of the features of this chair, or any chair that has removable items. And with that foot plate right there with this little hinge, what's really nice about that, it kind of gives us a feel of more of a rigid chair because it makes it a little more solid. So that's kind of a very nice feature. And then this basically goes on to our bracketry, and then it snaps on. And then the cushion could be put on if we had a cushion. So